Good morning. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Jerry, our three-legged kitty, decided today would be a very good day for him to make a bit of a cameo because he thought that maybe the people of the United States could use a bit of an awe moment. Okay, buddy, you're done. Carry on. Go do something productive. Okay, so I know I said that I was going to take today off, but I couldn't. The devastation that has been experienced in the United States in the last not even 24 hours is absolutely heartbreaking. And so I decided that I needed to make a video and see if I could access some insights, some guidance, something that might prove helpful. So, I have a question. Why? Why the gun violence? Why the way it is? So these are things we know, right? We know that it's not just Trump. You can't just blame Trump. You can blame the Republicans who have done nothing, have blocked Obama at every turn. We understand that on some level, this whole escalation of anger between the races is being sort of supported. And I don't want to use the word encouraged, but we understand on some level that part of what goes into this mix is that you have the evangelical base wanting a race war because they believe that that will create an environment that is so destructive. It will create a war. And they believe that war will facilitate the second coming of Christ, and then they can have their rapture and go on to live this glorious 1,000-year life. That is a component of it. You have Trump, who feels, first of all, he's as racist as the day is long, but beyond that, he actually sees it as a political plus. He thinks that this is going to win him the next election. So that just qualifies as flat out insanity. You have the Republicans who are so completely beholden to the NRA that they're not even the slightest bit reluctant to just flat out say, well, yeah, you know what? Like, we are controlled by a lobbyist group, and that's okay, and that's the way it should be. There is a huge difference between the right to bear arms and the right to slaughter people. Just in my opinion. And I suspect, based on the statistics, based on your opinion, based on the 90 to 95% of the American public who feel that there need to be gun laws that are going to stop the insanity, those laws need to be put in place. I think the most tragic thing I saw this morning when I flipped on the television, aside, of course, from the news about what had happened in Dayton, Ohio, was a shot of, I think it was Mothers Against Violence. I may not have the name of the organization correct. Marching in Washington, chanting, "Not one more, not one more." It about broke my heart because, no, it wasn't one more. It was 9 more. And it was 20 more 10 hours ago. I want to know what the universe can tell us that will bring comfort, insight, guidance to the people who are suffering through this horrendous violent epidemic. And this is the thing. It's not only the people who have been killed and their families and friends who are grieving. It is not only the people who have been wounded and they are now facing trauma and pain and recovery and the impact that's going to have on their families. It is also the people who are just mentally traumatized because they were in the vicinity or the area. And it is also the people of America who are so fatigued and so heartbroken over this entire environment. Everyone needs some guidance, some support, something to hang on to in these incredibly difficult times. So I'm going to stop rambling because I'm, heaven knows, very good at that. And I want to see what the cards have to say today about this. So come on down. You will also notice, for those who are interested, this is a massive piece of smoky quartz that I have here, because smoky quartz helps clear the energy of negativity. So, American gun violence, American gun violence, American gun violence. So, part of how this whole narrative about guns and America has been framed is they are trying to steal your right to bear arms. And what that did was that stoked fear. It created a resentment and an anger, because there are people who use guns in a safe manner. They use it for hunting. They use it for, entertainment, for sport. And, they feel kind of annoyed that somebody's trying to take that away. And as I understand it, and again, I am Canadian and I have a very different sensibility, because of the way we handle guns here in Canada. But what it did was, it was the perfect way to go about to create this anger and this resentment, and allowed that energy of I will resist to build and build and build. The government has constantly been struggling to find a way to balance the two sides of the narrative. And they honestly have not done a very good job of it. Okay, they really haven't. And part of the reason that they haven't been able to do a good job of it is because until the government has 1, 2, 3 chambers of government, until the Democrats take the House, the Senate, and the White House, you're not going to be able to move forward as a country. So, as American voters, your purpose, your job, your role in this is to vote all levels, to vote people who support gun regulation, to vote to get Republicans out of power so that there can be hope, so there can be healing, so there can be a renewal, so the insanity is dragged back and this does not continue, this carnage. And that's what it is. And ironic that, the king of carnage, Trump, used those words in his inauguration, and I don't believe that anybody understood when he said those words, as kind of horrifying and as appalling they were even in that moment, the kind of carnage that would fall upon the United States as a result of the energy that he brought in. There is, there is just so much anger that he has stoked, so much resentment that he has created. And the energies, because of that, are escalating. They're moving faster and faster and faster. And as a result, it becomes more and more violent. Anybody with a chip on their shoulder, anybody who doesn't like the other, has somehow been given license to just take matters into their own hands and frankly just blow people away who they don't want in their vicinity. It is appalling. And it's so sad, because I read your comments, I listen to the commentary, and this is not what America wants. This is not what the vast majority of Americans aspire to. This is not the country they want to live in, where people can literally use, weapons of mass destruction, weapons that are used in war. And they're somehow allowed to walk around the streets with this stuff. It's ridiculous. And it's not what you want. But somehow this negative energy and this rhetoric has just built up so much steam. It has become so pervasive that it is going to take some real work. And the energy to combat it has to be positive. It has to be an attitude of, we are simply going to take back the safety and the security that has been lost. Just as simple as that. That which was taken from the American people are going to say, no, we're taking it back now. That's enough of that. And that's what's going to happen as long as you get these 3 levels of government, because if that doesn't happen and Mitch McConnell holds the Senate, or even, let's hope Moscow Mitch gets voted the hell out. But even if he doesn't, if the Republicans hold the Senate, the blocks will continue. So it's really, really important that the movement that was started by those courageous Parkland students continue. And of course, I'm not discounting Sandy Hook and all of the rest. I'm just saying that Parkland made it very clear that if a politician was in cahoots with the NRA, they were simply not to be voted for. And that really is the only attitude that can be taken at this point. The people in government right now, the people who are blocking gun legislation, gun control, gun safety, they literally are mercenaries. There isn't another way to put it. They will do whatever it takes. They will fight whatever war for the almighty dollar. That's all they're motivated by. That's all they want. That's all they're going to see. They need to be removed from office in your next election. It is the only way that you as Americans are going to be able to stop the insanity. Okay, so these are positive cards. Okay, so what this is saying is, as people come together, as groups come together, as there continues to be a cohesiveness, change will be brought about on multiple levels and multiple ways from multiple different sort of venues. Every trick, every tool that can be used to stop this insanity is going to be used as the American people continue to come together and say, really, really, enough, 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 enough. So there is great hope and great potential, absolutely, that you guys can make this happen. You can force your government to stop it. You're going to get rid of the people. You're going to make the people who will not be logical and rational and care about the safety of the American people, you're going to make them go away. It's really very clear. It's all about the money, okay? I'm just repeating myself here. You can force them to retreat. You can. By your vote, by your actions, by maintaining that this is also one of the number one concerns and issues. It isn't just healthcare. It isn't just immigration. It has to be gun control. It has to be legislation. There has to be a way to bring this into kind of almost like the triad of concerns that need to be addressed in this election, understanding that the primary thing that needs to be addressed in this election is that Trump has to be removed from office if he is not booted out before then. And, you know, he may well be. Okay. Judgment. I have a question. And this is a question just as a Canadian who doesn't understand the whole gun fascination and the whole gun, you know, mentality in the United States. This somehow thing that went from the right to bear arms for protection to it got twisted into, we can't even stop mass murderers because, you know, they have the right to that gun. I have a question. If there is anybody out there in my viewers who is a lawyer, knows a lawyer, has a really good understanding of the American legal system, I, Cindy, would like an answer. Is there a reason why the people who have been impacted, and I'm sure we're at millions, the millions of people who have been impacted by gun violence in your country, is there like a reason that they are not able to band together and sue the individual members of government who have not put in place the legislation and the laws that will corral the insanity and bring it back under control? Why can they not be sued collectively as literally an accessory to murder, an accessory to attempted murder, an accessory to assault before the fact? I'd like an answer. I really would. I don't understand that. And I am not tooting the brilliance of Canada. God knows we have our own issues and problems here. But I can promise you that if a politician was key and instrumental in causing the kind of damage, and it doesn't even have to be guns. It could have been a Flint, Michigan situation where there was a direct correlation between a specific person or people blocking something that ultimately caused so much harm and damage. I can guarantee that us nice, polite people of Canada would have drummed them out of office. They would have been just exiled. They would not have literally the right to stand in front of the Canadian people and spout nonsense at us. They would have been held accountable at the very least by expulsion from office. And I can't understand why there isn't some sort of a mechanism in the United States that would start holding accountable the very people, the Mitch McConnells, the Lindsey Grahams, the Republican Party, those members, and that includes any members on the Democratic side, by the way. I'm kind of across the board on this. Why they cannot be held accountable in some significant and real way. I'd like an answer, please. If anybody can give me that answer, I'd be super grateful. Because judgment needs to come on the people who stand by and do nothing. And you can make that judgment by your votes. You can make that judgment by being proactive and pushing back against the crazy. Because I know you want it to stop. I know. I know it. I read your comments. I know. I watch television. I know what it is that you... Hey, Jerry. What it is that you want for your country. And it isn't this. I send you and every single person who has been impacted by gun violence. I believe last year there was almost, or in fact double, the incidences of mass shooting in the United States than there are days in the year. I send all of you divine white healing light. I send you green energy to heal and recover. And I call on the divine beings to surround you and extend as much protection as they can. My thoughts are with all of you. This is a really sad day. It really is. But take comfort from the fact that there is a road to recovery here, and there is a road to creating real and permanent change. And I am quite sure, along with the rest of the world, wishes for you that change can come quickly, effectively, and permanently to your country. Okay. On slightly, better notes, happier note. I came across somebody on YouTube yesterday that had me howling with laughter. If you are so inspired, go to a website or a YouTube channel. It's under the name of Bruce W. Nelson, Nelson. He does sort of satire lyrics to music. And the one I saw yesterday that caught my attention was called Moscow Mitch, the Musical. Check him out. He's really, really funny. And honestly, in these times, while you need prayer and sobriety, that's going to the word, sober thought, to combat your problems, you also need a little bit of levity. So check him out. If you're so inspired, he's funny. Also, one of my viewers suggested that I might want to check out a card reader. She's very clear about the fact that she is a card reader. Her channel is named Marie My Table. She's delightful. I really enjoyed her. So if you're interested, please check her out also. I got so much support from people recommending my channel to others. Hello, Jerry. That I am absolutely delighted to pass along that same kindness and support. So, I did not take today off. I will take tomorrow off. I am going to return to you on Tuesday unless, again, something happens that makes me feel like I absolutely cannot stay silent. So, barring any more calamities, I will see you bright and early on Tuesday. Enjoy what is left of your weekend. Continue to send love and light to those people in need. And for now, take care, be well, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.